Um, this is Captain Woozle coming back to you for another programming session on this fine Wednesday evening between the hours of 8 and 10. Today, we are continuing off with the trading post / simple pay application that I was working on. Just as a quick recap of the application, we are using Nest.js on the back end and MongoDB for the database, and we're using Svelte on the front end and Tailwind CSS for our CSS framework. We've already completed the majority of the back-end pieces with Nest. Clearly there might be some pieces here or there. And on the front end, we've completed the main search page, the display page, the login page, and of course the buy page. And the general idea behind this particular application is that someone can search for a product, and then once they find a product, they can look up offers for that particular product. Once they find offers for that particular product, they can then choose to buy a certain quantity, and then the application simply allows you to track your sales for that particular product that you purchase. It doesn't actually include the buying piece. It was just kind of an experiment with Nest and Svelte. We'll finish that up probably this week, and then next week I'll actually start working on an implementation or my implementation of Centipede. I was actually inspired by another developer who I saw do something similar. I never got a chance to see their final finished product, but I think it would be neat to try. And it uses P5. So I'll drag over the browser window and kind of show you the P5.js. So this is P5, and it looks like there are a bunch of different really neat examples that people have done, and there are a couple games that people have used with P5.js. So here are a couple games that look to have been made with it. So that looks pretty cool. So I'm going to try to build something with it. I've never used it before, but I think it'll just be kind of fun to kind of start with, and maybe I'll build other things from there. So let's go ahead and get everything started and spun up over here. We have our simple pay server, so let's go ahead and get that started. This is our back end. We're pretty good over here. We have all of our routes and everything set up. And now let's go ahead and get our front end spun up. We'll just do npm run to see all the available commands. There we go. And it looks like the only one available is going to be npm start dev. And that'll go ahead and get our front end started up. And let's take a quick look at our application to kind of see the progress that we've made, or that I've made so far. Oops, I apologize. I need to go directly into the app folder. Npm run, and it looks like, yeah, there we go. Npm run dev. That'll get our front end started up. And let's go ahead and take a look at that. 127. Again, it looks pretty bare and basic in terms of what it looks like. We have our default search functionality, the account page, sell your product, and log out. Of course, currently we only have one product, but I might add some more over time. So you can search for a particular product in either all categories, books or games. When you do a search, again, we have a fairly simple display of what's available. You can click on it, and right now we only really have one offer available. From there, once you're logged in, you can click buy and choose to purchase any number of units. And then click purchase, lets you know that you successfully purchased a product, and then refreshes the page so you could potentially buy more. If we go to the account page, it shows you all of the items that we've purchased so far. the description, the product, the price, quantity that we purchased, and the total that we spent. So where we left off last time was finishing off the offer page. And what makes the offer page specifically distinct is once you selected a category, and there's no particular products here in books, but in games, for instance, there's none. What allows you to select a new product? Now, I've already noticed a bug right off the bat that I'm going to take note of, is that when you come and select a category with no products, when we select, and I'll just move my notes over here so you can see, when we select a product with no category currently, we should display the drop down so we can add a new product. So that's one of the bugs. But if you already have an existing product, existing category with products like games, it will show off our drop down. And then from here, if you were to select create a new product, it allows you to create something. Again, I don't think this is the best visually, but for this particular demonstration and for what I'm kind of doing for practice here, I'm just creating the product. I'm just, kind of creating a base framework that can, of course, be visually cleaned up later. So we left it very loose and fluid in terms of that. But let's go ahead and start writing some code here so that we can, get a few things fixed and a few things implemented. Let's come down here. So let's go over here and expand our app. We have our source, our routes, and we need to go over to our offer svelte page, which we already have up. Let's close all the other tabs, reopen you up so that we can see that. Let's zoom in a little bit. So we have the thing here, if products and products.length is greater than 0. But it looks like what we're going to need to do is irrelevant. Give me a moment. Looks like what we're going to need to change here is irrelevant of whether there's products or not, is go ahead and display this. But we should probably wait until someone has selected a category. So let's go back and take a look at that. So let's refresh this page. And because once they select a category, well, then we should go ahead and display the products. So rather than say if products and products.length, we'll just go ahead and say if category. That should display that, but what we're not going to see is that list of products. Let's go ahead and test that real quick. Select the category, and then as soon as we select one, even if we don't have any products in the category, so for instance books doesn't contain any products, you'll see there is still the create a new product option. So that kind of fixes that bug. For the next piece we wanted to tackle is when a new product is created, we want to display that product. So currently in games you can select League of Legends, but what we want to do is when someone creates a new product here and puts it in, we want to refresh this drop down with the new product that we've created. So we've stubbed out, stubbing out, and of course for those who don't know, stubbing is just kind of what we would call in programming is creating a placeholder. It lets you know that you want to create, that you want to do something without completely implementing all of those features. And there's various ways of doing it. But at this particular point, we have if we create a new product, and that's another thing that we want to probably fix. Let's take note of that. Is we fix this first problem. When we select a product with no category, when a new product is created, get the ID, but also disable the click away. And I'm calling the click away this particular feature, particular bit of functionality. So if we select a new product and we don't hit cancel, we can just click out of the box and the modal goes away. And normally in most situations that would probably be fine. And we can actually probably compensate for it, but then we're just kind of stuck with this weird position where we haven't selected a product, we haven't created a new product, but we're stuck on this drop down. So let's go ahead, and actually I think it might be easier to go ahead and change it so that when the box closes and there's nothing selected, we go ahead and change it back to please select a product. So let's go ahead and implement that instead. So we have our close here, console.log products. We no longer need you. We don't have anything here to console log. So since we've done something similar over here in the sale page, because we did a modile in the sale page, and I guess we specifically did a modile in the sales form. So what we're going to do is right here, we're going to pay attention to this model props when it comes back and when it says reload or so forth and so on. So in this particular instance, we're going to watch our ID. We'll watch the actual page when it comes back under offer by doing this. And specifically what we want to watch is show modile. And we want to create a function called check for closure. Now, there's probably a bunch of different ways to do this. What I'm probably going to do is piggyback off of what's there. So we have this reload variable that we've kind of just left alone. We use it over here in the sales form so that when the form ends up reloading, when the form closes, it reloads the particular sales form. In our particular instance, we could use it. Now, I would probably suggest for functionality purposes that we create something slightly different and use a slightly different variable. So rather than say a reload page, which we could totally piggyback off of and use in replacement, we could probably do something along the lines of, closed. Well, and so here's the concern. If we close it by hitting the cancel button, then it's the same thing as closing it other ways. So let's investigate this and think about this a little bit more. So we've created the product, and when the product happens, we're more than likely going to trigger the close on this anyway. So we need another way of doing this. So we do the dialog.close without, it looks like, yeah, we can do the dialog close, so we can close the modile without telling the top that it was closed. But do we want to do that? We could also just create another generic modile or expand this one. I think for time purposes, I think we can go ahead and create a slightly different modile, but there's no like hard or fast rules on this. Let's create another modile. Yeah, let's create another modile. We'll, instead of calling this generic modile, this will be the offer modile dot svelte. And again, we don't have to. We could always expand this one. And I think that's really going to depend on the developer and whatever they want to kind of do in that particular direction. Just because, again, creating a lot of modiles means that if perhaps you need to just update one, it's more troublesome. But it does allow for some specificity. And so in this particular instance, we already have a button for cancel. And in this particular instance, we don't actually need to select modile props. We can change this up and say offer modile props and pass in, a unique series of properties. So let's come over here to our interface and, or here, let's think about this a different way. Svelte kit modile. Click outside, and that's what we want to take a look at. It looks like there's some functionality in place. You can use the window on click special. I see. So Svelte has some stuff built in that will allow you to do this. And it looks like what we can do is just add this click outside the box and stop the propagation is what it's called. And stopping the propagation is just another way to say that you're not going to allow the functionality to continue. They give some examples here, it looks like. So on click is close, and yeah, here we go. So on click stop propagation, sorry. So, and it looks like there's an out click functionality. Let's take a look at that as well. But let's keep clicking around. Let's look around and see what's available. It looks like it's a component that allows you to listen for clicks that happen outside. Let's actually go with the simpler approach that we found up here and do the stop propagation that we see here. So when we do the on click stop propagation equals your save logic for shorter syntax. So yeah, let's do this. Let's grab this particular functionality and listen for the window. So while the modile is open, and we can play around with this, so we don't actually need to. So we'll do it over here on the generic to start, and it looks like you put it outside of the div. Let's see here, maybe, or is it up here? Yeah, let's try it out here. And we don't have a message. So what we're going to do is we're just going to on click. We're going to run a function up here, which is going to give us a little alert. We'll call this function clicked outside modile. And so in the best scenarios, what you would do is have this as kind of a optional kind of parameter, more so an optional function. So when inside modile props or whatever you're sending in, one of the functionalities or one of the variables that you might set is say, hey, don't allow click outside. And then if that's enabled, but it looks like, hold on, window on click. Well, let's see. Is there an outer click? If open, let's see. On click. Let's see. Let's take a look at something else. I want to double check. Without an input tag. No, we don't want to look at that. Click outside action. So we would do import click outside. Open modile. Some modile. I see. Let's take a look at the click outside. I see. So what it looks like it's doing here is what in blazes just happened? Now let's refresh this page because something weird happened. Here it goes. So they added an event listener, and when they use click outside, I see. So open modile, some modile displays here, and that doesn't seem right at all. Let's click here, click here. You clicked outside. Let's play around with this. There's something that I'm not completely understanding, so let's leave that one open, and let's look at one other example. So when we open, again, that's not a good modal at all. Function click outside, on click event, and it has a callback function. And if show modile, use click outside. So I see what we're doing is we're creating a modile here and adding a click outside functionality Open modile. Well, let's see if it works. Let's grab it and mimic what's going on here. Yeah. Let's grab it. And let's see if we can mimic that functionality in what we're doing. So we'll take away this window.onClick. And let's add the function up here. Function click outside, element callback. Give me one moment. So we have the click outside function, element callback function on click event contains, we do the callback function. In this particular instance, we're not doing anything so fancy, and we're going to change around how this looks. So we're going to call it const click outside, and I guess we do need event. So on click event, event.target. Well, let's take a look at that. So on event.element, element on click event. Yeah, so we need a few things. We actually need the element. So add the element back. Based upon the example here, we have the element, the event, document.body.listen. We'll listen. We're already doing that. And we don't want to destroy it just yet. Well, I guess we do. The return statement, I think, if I'm understanding this correctly, says that when it closes, it destroys that element, which is fine. And then for our modile, we'll go ahead and add this click outside event. So when the modile is formed, dialog.use, and we don't want to close the modile. We just want to know that it's been clicked. And now I see it passes a callback function here. So we'll keep the implementation that they had originally done. And all this does is say that when you can pass in a callback function simply says when something happens to do something else potentially. And I guess, yeah, I guess we'll keep it the way it is. Console log clicked outside. And I don't, let's play around with it and see what happens. First, offer, you're just grumpy about that. I think we need to fix, yeah, we need to fix you. We'll just leave you be. Oops, looks like it's still not happy. Let's look at the errors. Hashtag is not valid. Reload page function is not defined. On offer, yeah, I see. I know. I guess I left something in place. So let's come back over to offer. Reload page function. Oh, I see. I left some code in here and I need to comment it out. Check for closers. We're good here. And let's do an inspect so we can see what's going on our console. If we select games, click on a new product, and then if we click pull up the console, clicked outside. No, that didn't work. Create a new product. League of Legends, create a new product. See, it's not showing it. So let's take a look and see what might be going on over here. You see console.log, click outside, .use div.onClick stop propagation. Let's take a look at our functionality here again. Use click outside, on click outside. So use click outside. So this is, I think, a better example of it. Use click outside, and it accepts a node, window.event, add listener, click, handle click, new custom function outside click. I see. So let's do something similar. Let's bring that over here to our modile. And up here, let's try this again. Let's click outside. Let's give that a try and see if that works for me. And then we come back over to here. We say dialog use this, and on outside click, we call this function. So rather than put it here, we do the following, and we create a function called handle. We'll create a function up here called const handle outside click. And for right now, we just want to alert. Nope, no alerts. We want to console.log here. So that way we can see what's going on. We'll clean this up over here. And use :on. And handle outside click. And it looks like we need to pull in click outside. We don't need to. We already have it. Why are you red? On. Not assignable. Is not assignable to a parameter of type. Let's see. Use if show to modile. I see. Click outside. No, that looks right. Everything looks right here. So function handle click, add event listener, handle click. I wonder if we need to say specifically handle click. Let's give it a try. Let's create the function. Will that make it happy? No. No, it doesn't. Let's see if it cares down here. Let's see if it cares. Let's refresh you. We haven't clicked yet. And then, oh, I see. It considers the dialog to already be existing because it's at the bottom, and we've bound to it. I wonder if we need to move you somewhere else. So, yeah, let's instead move you to down here on this div and see if that works better. So we'll move you to this div, but it still may be grumpy about it. So we don't get any here's. Go down to games, create a new product. You just generated though. So let's see. Let's do this instead and make it that. That'll go ahead and clean that up. Select the category, games. You still did it. I'm not finding the solution that I want to this particular problem. Let's see. We'll take a look at something. I use outside click. Window. So they put it outside. Message waiting for first click. Unexpected curly bracket. So let's try this. Let's put you inside the generic modile and you put you outside the div. So let's go over here to our generic modile. And outside of our dialog, we could do this. And when we do the on click, let's go ahead and put you in a function. And let's do a console.log. Let's add this here. And what are you grumpy about? Let's see if it's happier with curly brackets. No, it's not. So let's instead invoke a function because we already have it doing something. On click, and it's my infamiliarity with on click equals, yeah, no, it's because I had the single quotes. So let's go ahead and do this. Handle outside click. And you're grumpy about something. Let's not. It's grumpy about something. Show. Let's NC. Expand. Empty tags. I don't see it. Let's see if it complains and kind of go from there. Nope, doesn't like it. Expected valid tag name. So this approach doesn't work. And I'm still trying to get a handle on this. Svelte. Kit. Modile. Outside. Yeah, click outside. Let's see if we can find any other examples of it. There it is. Click outside functionality. You could fix that by moving the action to a common ancestor like the nav. Let's take a look at what they mean by that. Let's see. Using the click outside. Click outside as directive. So we handle the outside click. Looks like we've done that already. So let's try that once more. We have this function handle outside click, which we've done. And we have this click outside function. Let's grab you and move you back into our application. Let's try once more. Over here in our modile. And then we take it and we do this. Handle outside click. And we'll remove the window piece. Let's try putting it first here on our div. And we will call you handle click outside. Yep. All right. So we've done that piece. Let's come back over here. Let's refresh you. Come over here to games. Create a new product. Maybe that won't work. Let's move it one more place. And let's try putting it up here. Saving you. Refreshing. Games. And then if we say create a new product. Oh. I wonder. So it's triggering on, I wonder. Let's do this. If dialog.showModal, if the modal is visible, then is the only time we want to display the here button. Yeah, let's do that. And so let's refresh. We select the product, all right, games, create a new product. It still ran, but it didn't trigger the click. Let's move you one more time. Let's try here. See if we get a tune out of that trombone. Please select the product, create a new product. You ran already. Let's try doing this. I wonder. So JavaScript has some functionality inside of it that if you don't do certain things right, nope, you still ran. Yeah, I'm gonna just pause it for right now. That's a little frustrating. Let's remove you for the time being, and let's move on to the other function pieces. We might need to come back to that. So let's see. Does the system know when the modal closes? Well, let's pause for that. Let's just minimize you for the being. Let's come over here. And let's write the functionality to add a product. And then we'll come back to that. I think given the opportunity to do another piece of another framework, we might explore that a bit more, but I don't know if I want to keep beating that dead horse. So we come down here, when they click create product, let's go ahead and grab all the pieces and allow someone to create a product. We have the product name, we have the product description. We'll call this the new product object. It's going to be, and let's take a look at what the requirements are. So when we come back over here to our server, source, product, we have our create product, DTO. We need a product name, a product description, and a product category. So we have the category, or do we? Let's see. Let's do a console.log of category, and let's see what things appear for us inside of the console. So we select the category, let's do books, create a product, and name, description, create product. Yep, so we have the category. So knowing that that's the case, let's come back over here to our create product DTO. Let's open you so you're over here to the right so that everyone can see. The things that we need are product name. And again, we don't have to specifically do it this way. We could just say product name equals, product name. Then we can come over here and do product description. And lastly, product category. And that's going to be equal to category. So that's our object. And now we just have to send a post request to create one. So we need the create product endpoint, category endpoint, login endpoint. We don't have our create product endpoint in here. Product, let's see, shared routes, shared endpoints by product. So there's the product endpoint. We're not using it. Let's go ahead and do it now. We need the login endpoint. No, we do not. We do need the product endpoint. So let's go ahead and come over here to the create product function, and let's say the const, we'll call it the create product URL. is going to be equal to, we'll use the base URL, and we're going to combine it with the product endpoint. That'll do that. Let's do a fetch here. Const response is going to be equal to await fetch, and we can just mimic what we've done on the login. So if we come back over here to our login page at the top, we have this fetch where we pass in headers and body, so forth and so on. So we're going to do a similar approach to what we see here. We grab all this, come back over here to our offer, and we can paste and modify as we need to. So we have our response, we have the create product URL, everything else is similar. We use the new product object that we've generated here. And other places I've used object, I should be more consistent with that. We should grab the errors instead of just going this way, but for right now, let's say invalid product. Invalid product information is what we'll display. We'll get the response, so product creation response is going to be equal to that. We don't need to set the user info, but we should get a full product back. Let's double check, because what we'll do is we'll create, and we don't want to just return product.save. We should return product.save.populate. No, hold on a second. Yep. Product search query find. Yeah. Yep, that should be fine. Let's see if in Mongoose we can save and populate. Mongoose save and populate. Populate after save. You do something like this. Save.then is removed, is no longer chainable. So the above code should be written like .save.then. Yep. So we'll just move that over here. So we'll do populate.save.then, and the product is just going to be P. So it's going to be p.populate with product category. But you're grumpy about something. I think, there we go. That should be the correct thing. Now we'll populate it back. It'll bring back a full object. And when we come back over here to the front page, in Svelte, once we get a successful product, let's for right now just console.log the product. And then what we'll do is when we get it back, we will add it to our list of products, and we will set the product equal to what we set back. So let's take a look and see that in action. Let's bring this back over here. Come back over to our simple bay. Oh, it looks like I forgot to add an asynchronous wait to our function up here. So when we create products and we use a wait, we have to add an asynchronous. So it looks like we have an unexpected curly bracket. Looks like I messed up somewhere. There's a curly bracket here, curly bracket here. Oh, you look good here. Were you saying it? Offer JSON stringify, I see. So I see. We left in a semicolon that we didn't need. Books. Created a new product. New book. Some description. Create product. There we go. So we should just take the entire thing, and if it's successful, products dot push, and that's going to be product creation response. And I guess it's probably better to do it with the dot or the spread operators. So products are going to be equal to dot products comma production creation response, and then we're going to say product, and it's the selected product. So when we do the option, value equals product is going to be equal to the product creation response dot ID. So that should set that, and let's test it out real quick. Let's test it out. Refresh. Come back over here to books. Create a new product. Another book. Book description. We click on create product. We still have to cancel, but as you can see here, it added the another book. It looks like when we come back over to here, we need to trigger the, when we click this button, the closure of the generic model. And this is where one might say, hey, why don't you put this in a whole other modal? Oh, I know what we can do. When this is all said and done, we can just say, turn the modal to off. So let's go and find modal props.show modal equals false. And that's all we have to do over here. And that should hide it. So we'll try one more time. Create new book. Last book created. Book created. Description. When we create the product. Oof. I forgot. In Svelte, I can't just do that. I have to say, model props is equal to in Svelte kit. How do I update this? Svelte kit. Update object. Let's see. Somebody has a whole tutorial on it. I imagine it might be similar to what we see in unmutable objects. So using arrays, rendering arrays, yes. Updating objects. So that doesn't work. So what we have to say is, and then AR equals R. I see. This feels a little weird to do, but let's make sure that it works. Let's move you back. We'll try one more time. Well, actually, we'll do games. Select the product, create a new product, a new game. New game description. Create product. Nope, still not. Didn't update it. Let's take a look as to why. Let's go back. Is girl. Yeah, let's leave the page. Object reactivity. Object. Update foo. So we still have to say object is equal to object. Why didn't that work? I think show modal is false. I wonder why. Show modal should be false. I guess it doesn't pass it down to the child. So let's go look at our generic modal. I don't know if this modal is worth it at the end of the day. If I see if dialog. So I guess show modal by changing it up here to show modal equals false. I was hoping that this would close it. I think at this particular point, the better option might be to create our own modal specifically for the offer, handle all of the functionality inside of it, and then close out. So let's go ahead and do that. We still are going to have the same show modal props and everything, which are going to be an offer modal. You're going to still keep the, instead of saying this, you're going to say close, or we'll just say cancel. And because we can kind of make this generic, let's go ahead and put our form in here. So we'll come back to our offer page, and this is the form that we're going to use. So we have that anyway. Come back over here to our offer modal, and instead of this, we'll put this content inside of it. Slot equals header. New product. Nope. Nope. Okay. So now we have our button to create the product, which we don't want on a hard return. We have our cancel button. And then we just need to add a few more variables. So we no longer need you. We might keep you just in case, but let's do that. And we're going to call you the offer modal. Come up here. The very top, change you from generic modal to offer modal. And you're going to be called offer modal here. We need to move the product name and description from here. Come over here to our offer modal, put these at the top. Now, one of the things that the offer modal is going to have differently is we're going to need to send in the category. So let's go ahead and copy over offer modal to all the places we need to. One, we don't need a close text. We just call it close. We'll clean you up. We're not reloading the page at all in this particular instance. And that should be fine. We do need to create an interface for this. New. So you're going to be the offer modal props dot interface dot svelte cancel. We messed up on the spelling there. Now we can go ahead and add it to our code repository. Come back over here to the offer modal, and I need to rename you to offer modal props. There we go. Now we actually need to finish creating this. So we'll come back over here to the model props. We'll grab you. come over here, and you're going to be offer modal props. Offer modal props, show dialog, yes, and then category is going to be of a type of string. And then we can come back over here to our offer modal, and you're going to be of type offer modal props with a capital. We'll use our context actions to import it. Let's clean you up a little bit. And the only thing we need to then do is handle a category. So let's come back down here to our offer, and in our model props, we do need show modal. We need category because you are offer modal props, and we'll call you offer modal props here. We'll make sure that we import the right library, and then we can come back here and say category is equal to empty. And before we open the modal, let's go ahead and update this when they say update the modal. Yep. We'll go ahead and grab the category is equal to category and show the modal. All right, great. And then lastly, we just need to transfer over the functionality. We'll grab over the create product function, and we'll move you into our offer modal. Let's add you up here. So we have our products. This is going to come from our model props now. So we're going to say offer props dot category. That's great. Creates it. Now we have to send back products up the line. How do we want to do that? Let's look that up. And we've done it before, but svelte kit send props to parent. And we can look around over here. There's an example. Compose layouts and insert regular components, but pages are not really children of other pages. A path parameter. I see. Well, that's not quite what I was looking for. Update parent state from child. Binding, import child. Let state equal initial. We bind to that state. Let export equal state. And then we pass it up to the parents. So if we're going to pass it up to the parent, and that's the way that I have been doing it, we need to adjust these offer props. Let's go over here to our mobile, and what we're going to need to do is we're bringing back the new product so that we have that. So that means we're going to come back over here to our offer modal props, and you're going to take a type of new product, and you're going to be of a type product. Let's import your library so that it's available. Come back over here to our offer modal, and when we successfully create a new product, we're going to say offer props dot new product is equal to production. Yeah, and then the only thing we need to do is close you. So we just say dialog.close, and offer props.show modal equals false. But we should do a reload now that I think about it. And instead of reload, what we'll do is we'll say that we already have product. We should say create a function called, well, no. What we can do is we can monitor this new product, and when it's not empty, we can go ahead and update the product. So we'll come back over here to our offer, and we'll use this little squiggly line, the dollar sign, sorry. We'll use this dollar sign functionality to monitor it. So we'll say offer model props, and we'll say we want to monitor the new product functionality. Now there's a squiggly line here. Oh, I'm sorry, I forgot to add in new product as functionality. You're going to be empty, or actually you're going to be null. And to make that work, we need to come back over here and say you can be of a type of product or null. And then that means over here on page, we should be allowed to do a null. Yeah, but we don't. Why are you grumpy? Yeah, there we go. I don't know why it didn't let me do it before. It's the same thing. It should have allowed it. So product is null. And then we can call a function called check for new product. And what our check for new product function is going to do is we're going to come over here. We're going to create it. It's not going to have any parameters. And we're going to say if offer modal props dot new product, if something exists there, then go ahead and add it to our products. Products are going to be equal to, and we'll use our spread operator here, products, and add in our new product. We'll add that in. We'll set product equal to our new product, and then we'll set offer model.props new product equal to null. So let's see if that works, or if we broke something. We did. We broke something. Oh no. Oh no. There is no model props. That's correct. We now called you offer model props, so we'll change the binding down here. We don't have any errors. Let's see if we can break this. So we select a new category. Ooh. It looks like we messed up, or I messed up. Offer model props. And it looks like it's grumpy about this binding. Offer modal props is not assignable to offer modal props. I guess we need to call you offer props rather than offer modal props. And let's, I guess, go ahead and change all the references to offer modal props to offer props. And well, yep, we'll change you to. Let's check. What are you grumpy about? You're grumpy about something. No, no, you're good here. You're good here. Please select the category books. We'll do games. New product. Another game. Another game description. When we click create product, there we go. We closes our modal, sets the product, and now all we have to do is set the number of units, but we can always come back to create a new product. Now we haven't handled the cancel. So because we're doing our own custom modal here, what we want to do is handle the click of cancel. Give me 1 second. So what we want to do is, instead of just closing the dialog box, we need to, we'll call this the custom cancel handler. And this particular function, what we do want to do is we need to tell the parent that the person canceled it, and it's going to do a couple of things. So we'll come over here and say they cancel, custom call it. And very specifically what we want to do is we do want to do a dialog close. So we're going to steal these two things, and we do want to show the mode to be false. But now we have to be able to track that the person canceled. So at least with the two-way binding, it looks like we need to create a property to track that. So if we come back over here to our offer modal props, we have a new product, and we'll call this user canceled, and we will set you to false. And we're going to do something similar to what we've done before. So we're going to monitor it, and when user canceled becomes true, we're going to go ahead and change some things and then set it back to false. So in our offer modal, we'll watch it here again. We'll do a watch. I'm going to say if. No, this is wrong. I need to do this in the offer. So we're going to watch it and say, hey, monitor offer props dot user canceled, and we'll say we'll call this the handle user canceled. Now I think that's a little of a generic name, so let's make it more specific. So handle new product cancel. That's a bit more specific. We'll come over here for the const and say handle new product cancel. And we'll check if user canceled is true. What we are going to do is we don't need to modify products, but we do need to set the product ID back to the select. And by default, product is set to empty. And let's take a look. Select the product is set to empty. So then we'll say product is equal to empty. And then we need to change offer props dot user canceled back equal to false. And then over here on our modal side, if they canceled, what we want to say is offer props dot show modal equal to false, but also user canceled becomes true. And I see the problem. When I modified the props, I set it to false rather than a Boolean. Look at me being silly. So that should fix you. Looks like it's taken a while to recognize that change. And let's test it. Please select the category, books, create a new product, cancel. And of course it forces it back to please select a book. The only thing we don't have it handling is when they click outside. And I don't know if we'll handle that this particular time around. We got about 50 minutes, so let's try to make the most of it. So from here we have the modal. We allow them to create a new product. We can say another book. Let's see if we can finish up the pieces so that someone can create an offer. Create offer description. So to do that, and we don't have a cancel on here, so there's no way to really cancel out of creating an offer. I don't know if we want to do that, but let's come back over here to our offer page. We don't need to check for closure. What we do need to do, though, is when someone says create offer, let's go to this create offer function. And currently we don't do anything, but we need to grab all of those pieces. So we need to get all the pieces. We'll just create an object here. So we'll call you const new offer, and it's just going to be an amalgamation of various things. Now first, let's go ahead and see what we need to create a new offer. For a new offer, we come over here to our create offer DTO, and let's put you over here to the right so we have you. Let's zoom in a little bit. And new offer needs to consist of an offer user. And now here is where the user comes into play. So offer user, offer product. And we know what that's going to be. That's just going to be product. The offer units. That's just going to consist of units. And I think, did we call you offer units up here? We did. We kept it the same. We could literally just use the same variable, so we don't have to. Let's offer units. Let's come over here to offer price. And I think we have an offer price here as well. And we need an offer description. And I think we called you, we called you offer description, so they match. And if you wanted to, you could just reference you could just say offer description, and JavaScript would know to do that. Now we need to grab the user. So we have to come up here and do what we've done over here on the, is it the account page? No. Well, yes, on the account page, but also on the sale page right at the top. Let's see. So if we do a sale form, we go ahead and grab the user up here. So here's an example where we do const user. It's grumpy about modal props. So let's come over here to offer. Let's grab the user. And then we would say user.id. Let's make sure that accounts for the potential of it being null. There's our new offer. And we'll do the similar thing that we've done on the others. And jump up here and check you. User canceled is missing. Oh, I apologize. User canceled is false. And let's come over here to the modal props, close button text, and offer modal. Let's do the generic modal. Nope, you're good. You're not grumpy about anything. But we'll do something similar to the offer modal. We'll make it asynchronous and use a similar post method. So we'll come back over here to offer. Create offer should be asynchronous so that we can use await. Create product. And what we do is what we want to create offer URL. And an offer URL is not the product endpoint, but the offer endpoint. And there we go. Create offer URL. We send the post, JSON stringify the new offer, and we wait. We say invalid offer information, and if it's successful, we should display some type of generic pop-up. We'll do the same thing that we've done over here on the sale page, and we actually do it in the sale form. Is we're going to create the model props, and we will say the close button text. That's what I forgot. So we'll do modal props, and to distinguish between the two, we'll say something like generic modal props, or we should probably say offer success modal props. But let's do this instead. Let modal props equal that. Reload page equals false. Let's bring in those particular TypeScript interfaces, so we have those that are available to us. And just like the sale, let's go ahead and display that. So let's come back over here to the sales form. We have our model props. There we have our show. We don't really need to reload the page, but let's go ahead and create a generic modile. On our offer page, below the offer modile, we'll put this one. We'll call this the offer complete. You successfully, and this is very generic, created an offer. Now we could, of course, display the product information, so forth and so on. But in this particular instance, I don't really want to. You're going to press down the model props and dialog close. Oh, we don't need to. Nope. Actually, what is this? Create offer. Oh, I need to clean this up. This should be offer creation response. And we don't need to, there's no offer to show. And we'll close you. But let's open up the sale form so we can see how we did it before. We'll move you over here. We have our offer page. So once we were successful, we need to create, we're not doing a reload function, but we do need to say show modile is true. So it completes, and we'll check to make sure there's a valid ID. If response.id show modile is true, and let's complete this. So we'll create a book, select the product, another book, offer price 20, some description, create offer. Hey, you successfully purchase created an offer. Purchase created. You successfully created an offer. All right. So we have that, but let's double check because it looks like I think we don't reset the form. New game, quantity that we're selling is 3, offer price is 5. We'll put in gobbledygook. We create the, and then when we close, we don't refresh, and that's what we want to do. Let's bring back that reload functionality. Let's go ahead and add it up here. And let's go ahead and add you here. Now this just monitors our reload functionality. So let's make sure everything looks pretty clean. That saves that. Now we can go to my account, see what's been purchased. And if we go back to our search, we still have categories. But now we should see some of the things that we've added. Search. There's another book, a new book. We don't have any offers. All right. So this allows a person to sell their product. Let's log out. And we need a sign up. So let's go over here to our layout. Log out, log in, account. We need another div here. And that div is going to be sign up. This might be our last functionality before we start diving in the Centipede. So let's take a look. Sign up. So this is going to be the sign up page. We already have that created. We started on the basics. So we have the email and password. Instead of log in, we're going to have the words sign up and the words sign up. Now we're going to keep it fairly clean. Instead of doing do login, we'll call this do sign up. We'll make sure that the email and password is present and then kind of go from there. So let's just pause for a moment. Actually, we'll leave all this in here. Let's take a look at what that looks like. So now, when you're not logged in, you click sign up and you can choose to sign up. Email and password, login response. We should actually, because we allow people, we don't allow duplicates, we should actually have some type of error message that will let somebody sign up if there's a duplicate. But we're not going to worry about that right now. This is going to be the new user response. And before we go too far, let's check everything on our back end and make sure that that's there. Offer, server, source, user, create user DTO, consists of email and password, which is fine. And then when we have our service, we create and we return that user as well, which logs them in. So we're good in terms of the back end. Let's do the sign up page. Yep, everything else seems to be right. If token, we redirect. But we're not doing that. And that's only for when people want to log in and they're not they're on a particular page that they can't log in. So let's test that out. So we have test.tom. So let's create a test 2. I don't have a minimum length on these. Test. Sign up. Oh, it looks like I messed up. We shall call you do sign up is the proper function. We don't need a token here. They're never going to be redirected. Let's do a double check. No need to do the get from Svelte store. We do need the user info. Let's do test 2. Ooh. Oh. What I messed up on is over here on our controller, we need a creation. So instead of it being user/logon, it's just straight user. So let's take a look, see if we have that endpoint in here. Endpoint. I don't see a user endpoint. So we'll create one. Export const sign up endpoint equals /user. All right, and now we come back over here to our sign up page. And the URL instead of login endpoint is going to be sign up endpoint. And we'll call you sign up URL. We'll grab you, paste you here, clean you up since you're no longer needed. And then come back over here and retest. We'll say test 2. We'll sign up. There we go. And now they've signed up. The account information is not there because there's nothing to sign up for. Search still works. So I think we're actually at a pretty good spot. I think we could add more polish to these pieces so that right now it just allows you to sell a product. You can't really delete a product. It would be good to potentially show all of the products you have or you want to sell. The login and logout could be much nicer and easier to use. Let's log out real quick. There is a functionality that I know I wanted to implement. That is, if you go to the new product page or you go to the offers page, let's do League since I know I have content for it. Let's do League. Let's search. Do League of Legends. And then let's see if this works. Yep, that works. So it won't let you continue. So no, that functionality works. And what that functionality specifically is that if you are on this buy, if you're on the product listing page and want to go and buy, it forces you to log in. And then once you're done logging in, it redirects you back here. Now there is a functionality here where I didn't add that in. So if you go to add, what we need to do is here. Well, let's see. Did I remember to put that functionality in? I did. Yep, that functionality is in too. So all those functionalities and all that functionality is already in place. So that was the svelte nest kind of play around with. I still think there's quite a bit of power in svelte that I didn't really tap into, but it also felt like it a little weird for me. But I don't have anything negative to say. It felt weird for someone who doesn't work in it every day. So I think for the next particular function or piece, we'll probably build something a little bit different. While we're here, let's go ahead and kind of take a look at what I want to do, or my plans for Centipede, and maybe plan some of that out. Maybe write out some of the documentation that that we want to use. We'll come over here and have a new file. We'll call this the Centipede docs. Centipede clone. Now I've never tried to create a Centipede clone, so we'll kind of see what that looks like. Let's look at what the game Centipede game. Wow, you can play Centipede on the AARP website. Huh. So let's take a look. How do you play? Oh, there it is. Oh, good God. An advertisement. All right, let's get through that and go. So let's take some notes here. So let's have a loading screen. This is an Atari Classic. Click to start. Oh, that's really noisy. So I see you can move up and down past a certain point, and every time you destroy something. All right, so we'll use the WASD keys. That's pretty classic, or the arrow keys. So we'll just use the WASD keys. Use the WASD keys to move the ship up and down. Before we go there, let's talk about some of the pieces. So we need a ship object. We need debris, but we can worry about debris later. And we need the centipede object. We'll use the WASD keys to move the ship. And use the spacebar to shoot. That means that we need a type of laser or shoot. I guess pellet. I don't know. We'll call it laser / gun mechanic. And we'll have to deal with some collision there. Let's take a look at something. So when you fire, oh, I see. You could destroy the debris, but I don't know if we care about that. I see. Now, one of the things that I think I want to take note of here is I have the laser and the gun mechanic and the centipede object. We're not going to worry about debris, but a note is when centipede hits debris, it changes direction. As for the centipede object itself, let's take a look at how that's working. Bounces. And yeah, anytime it runs into something, we might need to worry about the speed piece. I see. Let's not worry about the. Guess you can't really pause. There it is. So when centipede hits debris, it changes direction. Let's see. The centipede just moves back and forth across the screen. And I think that's kind of like the base of where we're going to start. Probably start with a fairly simple, just round, square, or rectangular object, and work on just being able to move the laser across the screen, and then we'll start to work on what happens when things collide. So we'll probably work on that first. So I think the first steps is going to be create a ship, get the ship moving, and get the gun/laser mechanic working. Get the laser mechanic working. Now from there, I think the next steps are going to be the centipede pieces. But let's kind of start from there. And I think, as I explained before, let's look at the P5 library, P5JS library. So for those who are interested, there's a wonderful, I don't want to say wonderful, but there is another gentleman, our person who created Centipede with, or tried to create Centipede with J5. Let's take a look at this. Let's play this. It looks like it was never completed. Copper Centipede, let's see. Oof. Spring Centipede, wonderful Centipede. Let's take a look. I don't see anything. But there is a couple videos out there for creating Centipede in HTML and JS with P5 by Dragonmetry. So if you are interested, take a look at what that looks like. Other than creative coding. So yeah, there's a whole kind of walkthrough that they do on that. So I'll be kind of taking a look at some of those for inspiration, but definitely check out Dragonmetry so that you can kind of see what they're doing, because they do some really neat things. So take a look at that. Because I finished my tutorial early, I'm gonna pause for today, and then starting next on Friday, we'll dive in and start working on the creation of the Centipede and the P5JS library. And for those who are interested, it's over here at P5JS. And it's just going to be straight JavaScript. Let's look at a couple examples before we go. Form, input, keyboard. Yeah, WASD keys. I see. All right. Let's look at a couple other examples here. All right. Let's look here. Objects, multiple objects. Huh. All right. Let's look at directional lights. It's not bad. I don't know if we want to add lights. We're going to keep it pretty simple. We might customize it later. Let's look at some interactivity. Let's look. Is there motion? Yeah, here it is. There's some linear motion. Bouncy bubbles. Collision circles. Yeah, and I think we'll want something like this. And actually, we could make a Pong, and Pong might be slightly easier. But we'll save Pong for a little bit later as maybe an idea. I'll put it down here, maybe Pong. So we'll start, but we'll start with Centipede, or the Centipede clone, because clearly Atari owns the rights to Centipede. But we'll start there as just a kind of neat challenge in JavaScript, kind of go from there. All right, I'm going to end a bit earlier today. I do apologize. I just the project over here is pretty much done for as much as I'm going to work on it, and I'd like to start moving on to something else. I don't know if I'll come back to Svelte. I do really like Nest.js as far as libraries go. I didn't add any unit tests or anything, but it seems like it's a really nice library, pretty strict. But also allows for just, clearly it allows for a lot, but again, it's really nice. So I would definitely recommend anyone who, wants to try to dive into Node and wants something that's really structured. Nest.js seems like it's a pretty nice package. The controllers are really nicely set up for you. And yeah, you can just do get post. Yeah, it's a really nice framework for those who are interested. I would definitely recommend it. I don't know if I would recommend Svelte just yet. I feel like it would be, I'd like to play around with it a little bit more, but because I'm so familiar with Node, Nest.js feels very comfortable, but I'm also familiar with TypeScript. So again, Nest.js feels a bit comfortable. Mongoose is fine. I've used it before, but I don't use it very often. So this was something that I wanted to try. I think there's some interim projects that I might throw in here where I kind of use Nest.js to kind of build it, but I'm going to use a different series of instructions, a different series of a different database, etc. So it'll probably be somewhere along the lines of Postgres or MySQL, and kind of go from there. But MongoDB was fine for this particular project. Kept everything pretty short and simple, and just kind of one more look at how it all came together. Here it is. You can sign up, you can log in, you can do a search here, search for a product. Once you search for a product, you do have to log in to purchase it, but once you log in, you can choose to go ahead and buy the product. Buying the product lets you know that you were successful in buying it. You can go to your account and see what items you've purchased. We didn't add a date of when those items were purchased, but it's a fairly easy add. And then lastly, you can choose to sell a product, where again, you can either create a new product, the Book of Forever, some book. You can create the product, and then it allows you to go ahead and add however many units you want, and the price with description, create the offer, and then when you go back over here to search, you can search for books. We'll say book. We can say the Book of Forever, And there's the offer that we just created. So it seems to work pretty well. We have our main CRUD operations: create, read, update, and delete. We don't have delete, actually. No, we don't have delete. We don't allow anyone to delete anything. That might be something that I look at down the road if I ever decide to redo this project, but I think this is okay for now. So we're going to end today's stream. We have about 19 minutes before I was supposed to, but again, I think I've accomplished everything that I've wanted to for this particular project. And the next approach that I'm going to start, or next item that I'm working on, is Centipede. But I might switch it out with some other projects. Kind of switch it up. Maybe do a couple days with one and a couple days with other. That way, it's not all the same thing. Maybe even 3 projects, and 3 projects like 3 projects and then do one every day. But I'm still deciding. So. We'll see how it goes. Thank you, everyone, for tuning in for this particular stream, and sorry to cut it about, 18 minutes short. And I really appreciate your time, and I'll see you on Friday from 8 to 10, and we'll start on trying to build Centipede. Thank you very much. You have a good day. Take care and be safe.